Listen up, scholars. We're going to be talking about citations today. Why you should cite your sources and how you should cite your sources. First of all, why? Well, the basic, plain and simple is if you come up with an idea that's your own, that's great. You can write all about it that you want. But usually in essays and research papers, you are taking other people's ideas and mixing them up with yours to create new ideas. So anytime that you write about something that you didn't come up with, you need to cite where you got it from. Why? Because you got to know that it's coming from a real place. Like, for example, you could say in George Orwell's Animal Farm, uh, there's a bazooka and a bazooka fight in that. And then me, I can go and look at your source and be like, no, you're wrong. You made that up. Or if you say something like, did you know that self-driving cars are responsible for 50% of all auto accidents in 2017? I can be like, where'd you get your information from? And you were like, some guy's Twitter account. I'm going to say, that's not a very reliable news source. You should probably go to CNN. And then you'll say, but Mr. Barfield, my Uncle Jimmy says that CNN is fake news. And I'm going to say, well, Timmy, I don't have time to get into the argument and discussion of journalistic integrity in the modern age because this is a video about MLA citations. But for this video, let's just assume that CNN is still a reliable news source. So we're going to be talking about MLA citations before the internet and then after the internet, because here's where things get tricky. Before the internet, people got their information from things called magazines, journals, newspapers, and books. And so MLA, things were super simple for the people at MLA. They're like, here's one way that you cite a book. Here's one way that you cite a newspaper. You just follow this strict set of rules and you'll be fine. Okay? But then the internet came along with these websites and these PDFs and these Word documents and all this crazy stuff. And for a while, MLA was like, oh, that's okay. We can still come up with here electronic sources. This is how you cite. This is how you cite a website. This is how you cite a YouTube page. This is how you cite this. You have to do it exactly like this. But then people were like, but what if the website changes? What if there's no author? What if a URL that worked yesterday is now a dead link and it's gone? What then, MLA? And they're like, I don't know what to do. What do we do? Shoot, guys. And then they put out the 8th edition. Thank goodness that they did. The 8th edition makes things super simple. Here, let me read it to you. MLA has turned to a style of documentation that is based on a general method that may be applied to every possible source. Many different types of writing, but since texts have become increasingly mobile, and the same document may be found in several different sources, following a set of fixed rules is no longer sufficient. Finally, MLA is loosening up their guidelines in terms of how to cite your sources. They're still acknowledging it's very important to cite your sources and give as much information as possible. But instead of telling you exactly how to do each source, they have this list of core elements now. And if you start at number 1 and you go all the way down, and you should be good to go. It's important that you know this list of core elements. In fact, I'm going to say take notes on it because I just might quiz you on it. It's that important. All right, so if you follow this list of 9 things, then you pretty much any source is able to be cited, including Twitter and Netflix and things like that. But first, before we get into that, let's talk about in-text citations. All right, we're going to go to my sample essay. I fleshed it out a little bit since our last video. I have an introduction paragraph and my first body paragraph, and I want to insert a quote from the text. First of all, I need to introduce that quote. A quote cannot exist on its own as a complete sentence. You need to give some sort of introduction or some sort of conclusion to that quote. So I'm trying to make an argument about how humans shouldn't be messing around with technology that they don't understand. I'm going to use a quote from Eccles. Here I'm going to give you a little background before I give you the quote. Eccles has moments of fear in the midst of excitement. Questioning, here's my introduction. Questioning his guide, he asks, comma, space, quotation, does this safari guarantee I come back alive? End quotation, and here's my in-text citation, also known as a parenthetical citation. If you're doing it from a story or a book or things like that, you should always have the last name of the author, space, page number. There's no comma, there's no P for page number, anything like that. And please notice that the period goes on the outside of the parenthetical citation, okay? Not the inside. You need to include that as part of the sentence. You might say like, wait a minute, but there's a question mark. Isn't that the end of the sentence, the punctuation? Actually, no, it's in the quotations. It's part of the quote. It does not have any bearing on the actual sentence itself, the framing structure. A couple other things to notice. If you're quoting dialogue, you need to add these little apostrophes inside your quotation marks to indicate that it's not just prose, it's dialogue. Instead of doing two sets of quotation marks to make it complicated. A lot of weird little rules like that. And there we have our in-text citation. So now we got to go to our works cited page and do a full citation for where we got this quote from. For a works cited page, you need to have it be the last page of your essay. It needs to be its own separate page, not squeezed in under the conclusion paragraph. And you start it off by doing a center alignment title of works cited. Not underlined, not bolded, not anything like that, just works cited. And then you start on your first line. The way to cite this particular story is you start with the last name of the author, which is pretty standard, comma, first name, period, the title of your source, A Sound of Thunder, and then the next thing you'll notice on this list is title of container. Okay. Things are really simple with a book because you know exactly where information is coming from. It's coming from within the pages of the book. But when you get sources online, again, things get trickier. So you have to follow this list as best as you possibly can. So where did I get this? Well, it's a PDF that I got online. Explain how I got it. 1, I Googled a Sound of Thunder PDF. 2, I clicked on this. 3, I got my PDF. It's right here. Look at that. There's my story. But then MLA is asking, but where'd you get it from? Like, who are these people that are putting PDFs of Sound of Thunder out there? Well, to do that, I'm going to go to the URL. WSK12, blah, blah, blah. What if I just Google search this? Maybe that'll tell me what it is. Oh, look at that. It's Washingtonville Central School District. So it's a school district that wanted students to read this story, so they scanned a PDF and put it online. Is that a reliable source? A school district that's in charge of educating children? I'd say so. So my title of container is the Washington Central School District. Then the publication date of the actual story, the format that I got it in, which was a PDF, and boom, we're good to go. Next, we could talk about how to do websites and news sources and things like that. But I don't know. You can just read the Purdue website for specifics on each individual source. I don't want to go bit by bit through that. But what you do need to know is on your works cited page, if you have more than one works cited, it needs to be in alphabetical order, starting with the author's last name. So Bradbury is before Smith. But what if there's an article that doesn't have an author? It's very possible on the internet, because literally anyone can put literally anything on the internet. So let's say there's no author and all you have is a title. That's fine. Start with a title. Oh wait, Bad Cars alphabetically should go before Bradbury. Knock that out. Put that above. Bam. Anyway, that's a very basic introduction of how to cite your sources. Again, it gets really complicated and there's a lot of specific ways to cite specific sources, in which case I encourage you to go to Purdue OWL or talk to me in person and I'll help you cite your source. But the basics that you need to take away from this video are how to do an in-text citation, like so, and how to get your works cited page started. When it comes to the actual citations, go to a website or talk to me. All right, that's all for today. Hope you're not too confused. Take good notes. Bye.